Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Ganko Guns here. Enjoyed my Sunday and I hope you're doing the same. Now let me ask you something. Are you struggling with breeding? Maybe it feels like too much of a grind or you're just not sure where to start? Well, you're in luck because today's video is all about making breeding easy, simple, and very fun. I got a full guide for you, breaking it down step by step. So grab a coffee or tea or whatever keeps you going and let's dive in. If you are looking for people to play Palworld with, why not join the Mando community? We got our own server where you can team up, trade, and conquer together. Plus, after the new year, we're kicking off an epic Nuzlocke challenge. And guess what? You're all invited. All the details you need will be in the description of this video. All right, thank you again for spending a few minutes with me, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Now let's jump right in, right? Before we begin breeding, there are a few prerequisites that we need to follow. To make breeding 10 times faster and easier, there are a few key things that you need to set up first, and we'll break it down here step by step. Step one is cake. This is a very first step. We must have it. Cake is the essential item for breeding. Without cake, no eggs. Simple as that. One cake equals one egg. So you want to stock up, okay? How to make cake and what you're going to need for cake. The first thing you're going to need is berry plantation. And I have mine right over here, as you see. So we have the red berry plantation. I stacked, I have 4 here, and you will also need a wheat plantation, just like so. And again, you can stack them in your base, and as long as you have them, they will passively produce both wheat and red berries. The next thing you're gonna need for the cake is a ranch, just like so. I have 2 of them, and you are going to need a few pals to work inside them. You're going to need a mozzarella, which is the cow right there, for milk. You're gonna need the little chickpeas for the eggs. As well over here, if you see, I have my B grade or B garde, if you will, for honey. And again, as long as they're in the ranches, they are going to passively produce these for you, and you're just gonna need to pretty much stock up on them before you make the cake. Now, we are also going to need a mill. And again, you can make the mill really fast here, and it's this one right here. And what you do is you put the wheat inside the mill, just like so, and then you can produce flour from wheat. And it requires a water pal to come and water it, and it'll produce it, and then your pals can actually take it for you into your food box or wherever you keep your food. Now, when you have all of that done, you're gonna go to your cooker, your whatever machine you use. You see I already have 84 here cooking, and I can make 273 cakes as well right now. And as you see, it requires flour, red berries, milk, eggs, and honey. And if you do it with this setup, it'll provide all that for you. And then all you got to do is pretty much stockpile it. I prefer to put it in the guild chest box right here because it stops the timer. So you can just stockpile it in there, just like so, and then you just keep it forever as you, before you get ready to breed. You're gonna definitely need a lot of cakes, so stockpile on them. The second prerequisite, and probably the most important one, the MVP of breeding, is to capture a pal named Katress. All right, let's talk about the most important step here for making breeding, a breeze. You definitely want to capture, again, yourself a Katress. I'll say it one more time. I named mine Katniss Everdeen because if you squint just right, she kind of looks like her. And let's be honest, the names are practically twins anyway. Hunger Games, more like Cake Games. But anyway, let's move on. Now, if you go to this location right here, and I'll actually show you, it's by the Gobfin Turf. If you come here at night, this whole area right here is practically an overspawn of them. You can capture them really easily, okay? And what you want to do is you want to capture one for yourself, and then you want to capture like 100 more, and you want to condense it to a level 5. Okay, as you see, you get those 4 stars. You want to get the Grimoire Collector to level 5. There's a reason for that, and I'll get into it in just a little bit, but this is very important that you do this now before you begin breeding because it's going to make your life a lot easier. Let's move on. All right, and the final prerequisite is the ability glasses, just like so. You will definitely need these because these are how you can tell the IVs of pals that you have. Very important. You actually can unlock this at level 33. Let me go up here really quick. At level 33 in the ancient technology side, you can unlock them, and this is what you're going to need to make them. Your biggest thing here is going to be the ancient civilization cores. They're not easy to get. You have two ways of getting them at that level. Number one is going to be fighting the first Belenoir fight. She drops, I believe, 2 of them per fight. And the new way, since the new update, is actually in expeditions. If you run expeditions, they do drop from there, so you can easily get this done. But you definitely want to have one made. And again, let me go over here really quick. I'll show you. You definitely want to make sure that you have this made before you start breeding, because it's going to make your life a lot easier. And this is what, again, they look like. You put them on, and this is what they do is when you go over, for example, one of your pals, you kind of see their potential. This is their IVs, this is how strong they are, etc., etc. This is a must. You definitely need to have this before you start breeding. This is the final step. Now that we have all of that done, let's get into breeding. Quick note on the location for your breeders. Again, you're going to need all these breeding pins, if you will. Try not to have anything else in here. Like the ranches are okay because they don't give you any XP. But for example, if you put some sort of, mine or berry plantation or just something that when it finishes you get like a plus in XP, you don't want to have that in the same place that you have your breeders. Again, the reason for that is there are some moves that you're going to want to pass over between parents to children. If your pals are getting to a higher level, there's a bigger pool of those moves that you will pass on. When they're level 1, there's only 2 or 3 moves you want to pass on. It's a lot easier that way than when there's 30. So this is the reason why you don't want to, like, especially your breeders, you don't want them to level too high. You want to keep them at a level 1 because of this. So one more time, be careful what you put in your breeding base. As you see over here, this is my breeding base. The only thing that I have here is the ranches because they don't give you any XP. Anything that gives you XP, I'll put somewhere else because of that. I recommend you do the same. Let's move on. All right, now that we have everything done that we need, let's start the whole breeding process. Now, if you look at your pals that you've captured and so forth, you'll notice some of them have some, passives on the bottom right there, what you're looking for. Now, as you play the game, you'll naturally capture 12 of each of these pals. There's a random chance that they'll have some of the passes that you're looking for. If they don't, what I actually did was I went back and I just captured a bunch of Lambells. I like a lot of them until I got a ton of the passes that I was missing, and then I was able to pass all of them on. But what you really want to do is you just kind of want to any pal that you look that has like a cool passive, like for example, I caught a Rebunny Botan that had diamond body, so I locked it. And then the way that you lock it is if you go right here, you lock it. That way you can't accidentally sell it or destroy it. That way you have that passive right there. For example, on my regular Rebunny, I have Stronghold Strategist, and this is a really good move if you're blue in the raids and so forth and so forth. But as you see, a lot of them that I captured, I kind of kept a passive on there. So this is what you should be looking for. When you're, catching pals and things like that, what's honestly that you need to pay attention to going forward if you really want to get into this. You want to capture a pal, or you want to keep a pal that has a cool passive on, or even better, that has nothing on. This is very important. So again, until you get yourself a lot of breeders with a lot of different passes that you need, just start catching as many as you can until you get them. But once you have the passes that you need that you can pass on, because once you have it on one pal, you can pass it to any pal. There's ways to do this, and I'll show you guys here in a second. But essentially what you want to do is when you capture all these pals, or you're butchering them to keep them, or whatever you're doing with them, you want to keep one just in case you want to breed it with something else to get something else. What I look to now, since I have a lot of the passives, I'm trying to capture all the pals, or going back and recapturing the pals that have no passives, just like so. The reason for that is it's easy to pass the passives to another pal, because I'll just use a pal that I already have that has 4 of the passes that I want, and I'll put a one that has 0, and there's a really good chance it'll pass all 4 to the baby. So again, this is how you would do it. As you're kind of going through, you're capturing a lot of these pals. If you have a passive that you want, lock it, and then we'll go from there. But again, As you see, all my pals have either 1 or nothing. They have some of the passes that I'm looking for, and if they don't, I will just butcher them. But I'm always trying to keep at least 1 in my inventory, just in case I need it to breed for something else. Now, really quick, I'm going to take a second. I'm actually going to show you the tool that I use the most. I actually live in here, and you should as well. 1 second. All right, friends, let me introduce you to the best tool in the world, and this is called Palworld.gg Breeding Calculator. If you type this into Google, you'll come to this website. It'll look something like this. This is the best one. It's fully up to date. You definitely want to use this one. And what you want to do is right here in the middle, which says Final Combinations, you want to click that. It'll take you to this screen. Now, let's say, for example, we want to make an Anubis, okay? If you type it in there, you click on it. On the right side right here, it will give you all the Anubises or combinations to make Anubis. On the very top, it says as child. This means this is the combinations to make Anubis, and then as parent means that your Anubis and something else will create this. Very important that you understand how both of them work, because we're going to pass certain things over certain pals. Anyway, we're going to make an Anubis. So if you scroll down, as you see all the different combinations that you can use to make an Anubis, what most people do generally is, because it's super easy to get and it's super fast to get, is they will use a real Exaris and a Celeray. Again, the reason for that is they're super easy to find, and you can find them at like level 19, and Celeray you can find at level 1. So again, super easy. And as you see, if I go back to my pal box here, I actually prepare some for you. As you see, I have a real Exaris male and a female Celeray. And again, if you look on the passives, I have some passives on the real Exaris, and I have no passive to Celeray, which is perfect because when you breed them, there's a 10% chance that I'm going to pass on Demon, God, and Legend over to Anubis, while they're not going to take anything from Celeray. Again, there are some combinations where like it will give you some random passives. That's okay. You just keep breeding until you get the ones that you want, or at least a good combination of them. Okay, let's move on to next. All right, so now that we kind of know how to use the website and we know what combinations we want and the passives, now our main goal should be to make the perfect parents. Okay, let me repeat that. Make the perfect parents. The reason for that is we can easily make the child once the parents are perfect, especially if you're mass producing an army, you need the perfect parents. Now, if I go back to this really quick, I used a combo, and let me see if I can actually pull up the website here. I had Sylvages that dropped for me. I actually had the other passives on him for some reason that I was looking for, and my Capriti, I think that's how you say it. You'll have to excuse me. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. But I had 0 passives on mine, and I had the rest of the passives that I wanted on Sylvages. So I bred the following parents right here. So these are my perfect parents. And again, I only did 2. There were probably like 50, 60 eggs that came out, and where I was looking for this. The main goal here is the perfect parents were the perfect passives, okay? And what you should look for is passives on parents that are either in these. One parent should have 2 passives while the other has 2. Or for example, the one that I have here is the male has 1 passive and the female has 3. For example, if I were to go to my breeders here for my Ozarks that I'm making an army of. As you see right here, my 2 breeders that I have, and I actually named them breeders, they have 2 passives each. So when I breed these, there's a 10% chance that they're going to pass those 4 passives onto the offspring. Same thing as I like pretty much go over to the breeders that I have, and I have a lot of them everywhere, so you'll have to excuse me. Let me see where my Nocklum breeder. So Nocklum A team breeder, as you see right here, he has 2 and 2. The B team has 2 and 2. This breeder, I believe, I have them all over the place because they're kind of hard to find, but you kind of get the point, right? You want a combination of either 2 and 2, 3 and 1, or 4 passives on one pal, 0 passives on the other. Now, I've bred all 3 of them, and honestly, I haven't seen any difference at all between them. As you see here, I have 2 and 2, and so forth and so forth. I'm breeding these for condensing, so this doesn't really matter here. But essentially, what you want to do for the parents first, step 1, is get the perfect parents passively. So you want to get a combination, again, of 3-1, 2-2, or 4-0. Now, step 2. When we have the passives that we want, now we want to get the potential IVs perfect. As you see, I have them perfectly here. Now for the IVs, and as you see right here, the IVs are perfect in both of these parents because I made them that way. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. But here's a rule that I use when I'm capturing pals, especially since you have the glasses. I only capture pals that have a 70 and above IV. Like, for example, if I were to, like, let's say, jump on my Jet Dragon here, if he's not bugged, and we're just going to go over here really quick, and we should be able to see a pal here. All right, perfect. So as you see right here, we have a Bushi. And the Bushi's passives are 66, 35, 1. I would not catch this pal because the passives are too low. I would just move on. And then, for example, right here, I would actually capture this pal right here. It has a 74 HP or health. I would capture him, and then maybe sometimes, you know, that the line, if I get a better one, it would be perfect. But essentially what you want to look at is you want to capture pals. You want to capture pals that have, like this one's, for example, is even better. This one has a 97 HP. You want to try to capture pals that have 70 and above. On all three would be even better, but again, sometimes you really can't mess that up. Like this Floppy right here is fantastic. 71, 75, 23, you can breed it. It'll be a lot easier. So again, rule number 1 is when you're capturing pals, one more time, is you want to really look at their IVs and you want to try to capture the ones that have a little better or a little, you know, harder or bigger IVs, I should say, than you know, the others. Now, is that always going to be the case? Absolutely not, but you should aim for it. Now, this is what I do. All right, so now, if you go to your team, and this is remember earlier I told you guys to make that Katress with the level 5. This is where we're gonna use it. As you see, these are just some of my boosters, so I can hit a lot harder. And I take a Jet Dragon, and the rest really doesn't really matter. But what you really want to do then is once that Katress is in your team, you want to fly over here to the realm of the sealed realm of the Swift, pretty much where the Dyna and Might is, or Mite. You want to kind of come to this little place right here, again, north of where the German Tide is. Again, sealed realm of the Swift is the fastest, you know, port to it. There's a little trick that you can do. So again, you can do this. You can see I actually have done this. I don't even know how many hours. It's super easy to do, and I'm going to show you a little trick of how I do it. So again, you just want to make sure that you are flying the right way, which is this way. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the beginning, and what we're looking for now. Again, make sure the Katress is in your team. That's number 1 thing here. If she's not in your team, this is not going to work. What you want to do is just kind of want to fly up just a little bit so you're not hitting anything. And especially if you have like a fast mount like I do, some of these things don't load in too quick. This is actually really good at night, but again, you can do it during the day. I do it on both. It doesn't really matter. What we're looking for is a chest that is glowing. That is actually one of the new mons or the new pals they introduce. And I'm going to show you that here in a second, what really happens. Oh, really quick. There's one right there, but it's about to die, so we're just going to let it die. We're not getting involved with that one. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't have anything here that's going to allow it to live. We want it to die. So there's one right there that just died. And what we want to do is we want to run around until we find one, and then we're going to reset it. If you don't find anything, for example, we didn't find anything here. There's those 2 gorillas fighting, which is pretty funny. We didn't find anything, so you just fly off about 20, 30 feet, just like so, and then you come back. The reason why you want to do this is going to reset everything, and then they're going to respawn again. And you can just continuously do this, by the way, until you have them where you want them. Now, really quick, I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to find one, and I'm going to show you what happens. All right, perfect. We found one right here. Now, again, as you see, these pals right here, if you hit it, it will run away. So you want to make sure that you kill it right away. But before you kill it, you want to make sure that you have your Katniss. And I like to put her on do not attack so she doesn't die or anything. I like to kind of just have her here. Okay. And what I do here is I actually use my rocket launcher because these things have a lot of health. And if you hit them and you don't kill them, it'll run away. As long as your Katniss is out, you want to kill this pal right here. And again, as you see, you can capture him as many as you want, but really what you want to do is you just want to kill him. Actually, butchering them does not help you. So you, again, I know I'm talking a lot here, but you want to kill him with the Katniss out. So we're just going to kill it. Okay. And with the Katniss out, check this out. I got 20 coins just like that, just off one by having Katniss with me. And again, you can just reset it. You can just keep going down. If you don't see one, you can just fly off like so. Like again, you don't see one here, you don't see one there, etc., etc. You don't see it, just fly off and then come back and reset it. And you want to fly about 30-40 feet, come back and reset it. Now, we are on a dedicated server, unfortunately, so I can mess with the respawns. But I know that if, for example, you were to increase the amount that show up to 3, you will have 3 of those. And with the Katniss out, again, just really quick to kind of show you, because of the way that she has neutral pals drop more items when defeated, she has to be out. That's the number one thing. She has to be out, and you have to go in there and actually collect them. You will get anywhere between 20 and 50 per pal drop. And this is how much I'm getting when I'm doing this, especially with 3 of them. If you're going to do this, you're going to get like 100 to 150 per. And again, you just fly through. If you don't see them, you can just run off and then come back. Just again, reset it, etc., etc. Oh, there's one right here. And again, we're just gonna get out, make sure that we pull out our Katniss. We're gonna kill this thing. And just like that, see, I got 42 on that one. So if you guessed it, you're absolutely right. We are farming dog coins. Now, if you look, and again, I've been doing this for a while now. If you look, I actually have them all in here. If you look, I have quite a lot of these dog coins because they're pretty easy to get. You know, especially if you're doing this for a while and farming them, you can get 150 drop if you maximize it by 3 spawns, etc., etc. You really want to, again, take a moment and just go do this and get yourself a bunch of these dog coins. Then, when you're done, you want to fly to a church. Any church will do. I like to fly to this one right here, the church, right at the start here, right by the Rain Syndicate Tower entrance. Again, I fly to the church, and I'm going to show you what we do here. And again, this is this is like the easy way of doing breeding because it saves you so much time. Now that we are at the church, what we're going to look for is this golden guy right here, the metal merchant. And when you buy, and you'll see right here, he has a bunch of things for sale. Now, what we really want is these 3 right here. Each one of these, the life fruit is HP, the power fruit for your pal is attack, and stout fruit is defense. These will actually increase by 10. So for example, if you have a 91 and you feed it a life fruit, now it has 100 HP, and so forth and so forth. So you want, and they only cost 500 each. So again, you can easily, within like an hour or 2 of doing, that, you can actually make the perfect parents. If I were to go back here, all right, perfect. So now this is how, again, you would make the perfect parents. Because we have pals that, are 70 and above, you will get some better passives on them. And what you want to do is you want to make the parents 100 on everything, because there's a good chance they're going to drop it onto their, their babies and so forth and so forth. This is pretty much the key. You want to, as long as you have it 70, 80, 90 and above, you don't have to waste too much time on it. You can go and just do that little trick, get those fruits, and then get them to 100 each. So when you breed these, there's a very good chance that they're going to have the perfect potentials of 100 each. And on top of that, there's a really good chance that they're going to have the best passives that you have. Just to show you an example, and again, I am mass producing a bunch of these, as you see right here. I'm just mass producing them for the purpose of feeding them into my stronger pals. But as you see, a bunch of them already have 100 each. As you see, this is just the offsprings, just because the parents already have them. And that's the whole trick, is that you want to use the dog coins to feed your parents. You make the parents the best with the perfect pals, and the perfect IVs, and then they can pass down over to their babies or their offsprings, if you will. The next thing that I want to talk about is the moves, a specific move that you want to pass from parent to child. This used to be another thing that you would look for when breeding. On top of, you know, the perfect passives, the perfect IVs, you also had to make sure that the move was passed over before you would, you know, use that pal. It's actually a lot easier now because of the skill fruit trees. And as you see right here, for example, Holy Burst, which I think is a broken move, by the way, it's broken. It's probably one of the favorite moves in the game. This was not able to, you were not able to get this before the Fabric expansion. The Holy Burst was, you had to catch a Lulu or a Yakumo and then pass it over and then pass it over and so forth and so forth. Now, because of the skill fruit trees, you can actually just grab, you know, make most of these moves on here and just teach them to your pals. So it kind of takes away from having to worry about the moves, which in my opinion, I think is a really good thing. And again, I actually have a whole base dedicated to it because I do my raids at this base. I'm actually show you here really quick. I like to do my raids right over here. And when I'm not doing the raids, I use my skill fruit trees to pretty much get, you know, mass produce these moves so I can teach them to my pals. And all you really need is some water pals, and that's about it. And as you see right here, this is my fruit trees that I'm mass producing all the moves that I'm going to be teaching to my pals and so forth and so forth. So again, super easy. You don't really have to pay too much attention to the moves. There are some moves that you can still pass down, but again, the skill fruit trees just make things so much easier. The last thing that I want to talk about is Yakumo. Now, if you don't know what Yakumo is, Yakumo, and I actually have, let me actually go to the one that I have, that I was using. So Yakumo is a pal that you could catch as of Sakurajima expansion or update or whatever. When you are fighting together, he has the ability to pass his passives onto the pal that you catch. Here is the bad part. All the rainbow ones like Swift, Legend, Demon God, and things like that, these will not pass, or at least have not passed for me. Like, I have been trying to put Swift on some of the legendary pals now for a week, if not longer, and hundreds of them that I've fought, not one has been able to get Swift. So I really do think that it is only the gold moves and below that can be passed over to pals, while, you know, the rainbow ones or the ones like this, you will not be able to pass these on your offsprings, which kind of makes them. And again, I like Yakumo. I like the whole method between it. It really makes it not good. The reason for that is because of the birds of the feather. Mine's level 5. You have to invest, you know, catching a bunch of these pals to feed and condense it to get to level 5, just to be able to pass like infinite stamina or muscle head or, you know, things like that down to pals where it's really ineffective. I do not personally like the Yakumo method. I do not use it, but it is there for you if you want to use it to, you know, pass some of these passes over to the pals that you will need. Like I said, I don't use it because I just think it's too much of an investment for gold passes that are not really going to help you. All right, and this concludes the video. I don't think I missed anything. I went over everything twice to make sure that I have everything that you need to know about breeding inside this really big guide. Now, if I did miss anything, if you guys have any comments or whatever, please let me know in the comments of the video. I do read all of them. I'll go through them and we'll adjust. And if there's something that's actually really good, I will put it in the very top of the comments so everybody can see. Thank you again for spending some time with me. I know this is a longer video. I really don't like doing long videos, but thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate all of you. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, friends.